Hello and welcome to May calendar for 2026, and May is transfer and doodling. So what I thought about doing was some iron-on transfers and then just doodling with a friction pen. So I've got it started here already. So this is what I'm doing. It's May and I've done my line across the top and I've written May. I found I have a whole pile of whoopsie daisy transfers in this tin, and I've chosen the bird. Now this blue is on this side, and then when I trace it down it's pointing in that direction, so I have to make sure that it's going to fit quite well there, which it does. And then I've chosen this one here as well, and the blue is on this side, and I'm just going to put that somewhere like that. And then I could put something else here, or I could finish off doodling some other bits and pieces. But I've just done some little swirls. Sally in her video does lots of little swirls, and I thought that would be a good start to do doodling. And doodling is just basically drawing on a picture on fabric. So what? So let me see. I'm going to do this one first. So I've got my iron nice and hot, and making sure that my picture doesn't go into the swirl and into the Y. And I'm just going to get it, and hopefully it will work. Let's hope this works. So you have to put it down onto the piece, and I've just realised that my work will rub off, but that's okay. I can redraw that back on, and I'm just waiting for it to adhere to the fabric with the blue ink underneath, and you have to hold it on there for quite some time. So I'll take that off. As you can see, all that's gone now, but that's okay. And I'll slightly lift that off. It needs a little bit more, so I'll just let that sit on there for a little bit more. So how are you? The weather is cooling down. Yeah, so, and it's getting darker, and we'll be heading into winter. So that will be nice. I'm really looking forward to that. So let's lift this off. There we go. And you can reuse that again. So I'm going to put that over there. Yes, what I was trying to say, I was pre-recording this. That's right, because we'll be away, and I'll be going off to Fleur Woods and Kate in the Nests at the Green Door Studio. I've never been to the Green Door Studio before, so I'm really looking forward to that. So let's press this one down now, and all I've got to do is keep the iron on there, and let's hope for the best. I can still see the shape of that, so what I might do is photocopy the bird on the piece of paper, so I have reference for that. Let's have a look. I don't think this is working on this one. So if it's not going to work, then I will just trace it on some tracing paper, and I will trace it on. It might just need it just might mean the fact that it needs to stay on longer. If you can hear noise, my neighbour is up on the roof next door. Look, it's just doing a little bit. So that's the plan. I still love it, but I will put it on tracing paper, and then I will come back with a little bit more after this because I need to fix up the May. Let's do that maybe now so I don't forget. Let's go across here and down. Fix up my swirl. Where did I go? Round here. Something like that. And I will put my line across. My line's across here because then I know where the fold is, and I've got obviously extra fabric around. And that will be, I don't think I can go under there, can I? No, it's too thick. So I will leave it here and then I'll be back. So here is my progress. This is the transfer that wouldn't iron off onto the fabric. And I'm pretty sure this is the right way because that's blue and that's very faded. So that's like the darker side. So I've traced it on tracing paper, or you can use baking paper. Oh, this is tracing paper, parchment paper. And then I've traced it onto my fabric. And then I can go from there. So that's what I'm going to do. So that ticks the boxes for doodling, and I might do a little bit more doodling, and a nice big flower and a bird. I could still come in here and do something. I do have something else in here. Let me have a look. I did have a beautiful bouquet of flowers. I could have the daisy. I mean, daisies are easy to draw, but when you've got them on a transfer, why not do that? Or do you think that might be too much? What I might do is I'll leave that transfer, and then it definitely needs something there. So maybe I should just do it. Let me rub this one off. Oh, all that blue is getting on. Oh. Be careful with the blue because it's getting on my thing. It'll be blue everywhere. I will put the transfer on here. Let's just do that. Put the transfer on, and then I can draw the doodling. Oops, it'd be good if I turned it on. This transfer must be fresh, or not fresh, like it hasn't been played with, because the transfer is sticking very well. It's a best way transfer. Oh, now it's got blue down there as well. That will do. Do you know what? I'm just going to put that in the bin because I've got heaps of it there. I don't like the fact that it gets blue everywhere. Little bits of blue all over my desk. Okay, so I will leave it here and I'll get stitching, and I will come back to you when I've done some stitching on that. So here I am up to my May pouch, my May calendar, I beg your pardon. And I have done some little tulips, finished the flower, and it's a bit crumply because these things are quite delicate, but I've finished off that. So all I've got to do is put some, I forgot about putting some little seed stitches, or not seed stitches, French knots on the edges of those petal things, and there was one of those there. I probably put it on the wrong side, but I might just balance another one of those on the other side, and then that flower is done. I need to figure out what kind of green this needs to be. So I have some green, I think, in my... I just packaged up some green. I think I quite like that green. Oh, sorry, that was my head. Do I like that green? Or maybe this green would be better. I think this green would be better. Try not to have too many choices because you can just procrastinate. So what I would do, actually I'll see if I've got any green in my tangle. Oh, look. Let's do that one maybe, or yeah, let's do that one. Oops. So your tangle or your orts threads are a great way of using them up in these sorts of projects because you only need a small amount of threads. For somebody that's new to my channel and doesn't know what I'm talking about, this is a project for once a month, a calendar project, and it's a 6 inch. I don't know where my ruler is at the moment. Nope, don't know. I can just measure it under here. Actually, I'll just do it in centimetres for now. It is, I'm making it 18 centimetres from that line to that line. And this is transfers, or what did I say it was? Transfers or doodling. That's right. So all I'm going to do is come up here and travel the thread with a back stitch all the way along, without sticking it in your finger. I've got wadding underneath to make it a bit fluffier or squishier. When you see this video, I will be, where will I be? I'll be in the UK, up at my auntie's, my husband's auntie's house. So I'm going to take a fair few projects with me because I don't seem to be wanting to do too much. Just going to chill out. And it'll be less than a year since I was there last time. Last year I went to Sally's, and I think I was there for her, no, I was there for her workshop, but I'm thinking it was the 10th of May, so I'll be home by that time this year. Yes, that looks great. So then you just travel your yarn thread. You could use yarn, but it would just make it a bit bulky. Very easy to do. I try and stay actually on the blue line because it's not a friction pen, it's actually an iron-on transfer, for those that don't know. So you really need to make sure that you're covering up the blue lines. I mean, you will see a smidge of blue line. I'm sure we can see a little bit there. But the idea is to practice your stitching along the lines and work with or around the lines. Sometimes I can't even put my needle in where I came to do backstitch. There we go. So I just travelled that there. Didn't have to cut off my thread at all. Sometimes I don't go all the way through and sometimes I do, as long as it catches the fabric onto the wadding. And I'm not worried about whether my stitches are so many centimetres long or inches, or I'm not worried. It's just the eventually you start to get into rhythm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the rest of this thread. So I'm going to travel up here and just put in some long and short stitches. Try and make the travel with your thread the shortest possible, so then you get the most use out of the thread. So there, I will just come in and do a little bit of a back stitch. I won't worry about the bit at the top. So even though the what's it called? The transfer's there, you can still make it your own. Right, take out that pin. And so then what I like to do is just travel my thread through the wadding, and just not going to go anywhere. So that is done. I'm going to leave that white. I quite like it. Maybe I'll come back in later and colour it in, but at the moment I'm just going to leave that. So we need to do some pink lazy daisies, and I thought I had pink in my orts. I could use that. I could use a variety of pinks going around, so that might be an idea. Use up your threads. I don't know whether that's my stomach or the dog's. You're right, little Pin. She's going not too bad. Now that is a cotton, pearl cotton. I'll just throw that in there. Actually, no, I'll leave it in my tangle, but I'm not going to use that. And there's some more pink there. It's amazing what you have in your tangle. And that is definitely my stomach. There's some lovely pink there, variegated. So I'll definitely use that one. A tiny bit here. I think that might be one of those in there, so I can join that together. That's purple. Right, I think we've got enough. I'll be here all day. Okay. So let's use up this one here. This is a pearl cotton, I think. Of course, I'm using this the smallest needle, smallest head. Right. So how are we going to do this? I have to think about this for a minute. Maybe I need a thicker thread. You're going to see the blue underneath. Might just go one there. And the other one here. Might turn out all right. I've just got to keep going and just see how it goes. That doesn't look too bad. I still don't like how it just doesn't sit down. Maybe I could couch it down. Oh, I just stuck that in. This is the most sharpest needle I've ever owned. Now I'm using the light side of this variegated thread. Even though I'm skipping the lazy daisies, it's working out not too bad with the length of the thread. Oh, I wasn't going there, was I? It's always a bit difficult trying to undo the threads when you've buried the thread in the thing. No, I shouldn't call it a thing. In the fabric. Oh, I'm just going to leave it because you can't see it. You cannot see it. Lovely sunny day today. I think we're still in our 30s. Actually, no, not 30s. I think this, sorry, not 30s, 20s, in our 20s. Let's get to the point. We go wrap round the top, pull your needle through. If you, oh, I'll be on that knot, aren't I? Right, this requires the pliers because I went through the other cotton when I wasn't supposed to, when I tried to pull it out, I mean. So this worked out quite even in all the stitches, and I still have some left. So don't be afraid to use your threads. Right, I could possibly now, because I've still got it there, come up and use the knots. And that's another way of using up your threads while you have it on your needle. I've just done 2 wraps and that's good enough, so I'll just go back and do the others. Oh, caught it in there. Let's see if I can. I'm probably not going to do it. I'm going to have to get a new piece of thread, cut a new piece of thread on the end. Oh, thought I did it. Sometimes I really need to change my needle. but I like the fact that it's a thin needle. You can sometimes sew better when it's a thinner needle. It goes through the fabric easier, but it's a pain in the neck trying to thread it. So 2 wraps and down, and I like to poke it into the wool mat. I'm just going to use up the thread, and whatever's left over, it's such a tiny little bit, I'm not going to save it. Getting into the darker bit, so that's actually good. Yeah, definitely putting it into the wool mat locks in the fabric to the needle, and locks in the stitch. That was a bit of a tough one. Right, definitely on the last one. It's getting a bit tight now. I think this might need a... Oh, definitely tight. Just got to be careful you don't pull your French knot right through. Okay, so I'm just going to tie off. I like to just tie off like this. Do a couple of wraps in through the wadding and the other bit. Get my needle and thread it through, pull, and I like to just do, if I can, oh no I can't. I like to always do another one, but I'm not going to. It's pretty tight there. It's not going to go anywhere. So there we go. Hopefully that, and I think over time the blue one might rub off anyway. So let's do a darker colour. That's not any darker. This one's darker, and I have an extra thread here. Might not be exactly the same, but it's still pink, and it might be better. What have I got? I've got that length. I'll just go with it. That was my phone telling me some rubbish about... I've no idea. What did I bring my phone in for? Oh, just in case I was taking pictures of another project and this is not going to work. So let me find a different needle. Maybe this one. Sometimes when you fold over the thread, squish it, it goes through the needle. Other times it doesn't. It's a pest. It really is. There we go. I don't know how other people just thread their needle, no problems. Me, oh, struggle all the time. Right. Just chop that bit off because it's a waste. Oh. Right, let's do a little bit more and then I will leave it here. Go away and I'll do the daisies and then I'll come back and show you the bird. So let me see where we are. Right here will do. I don't think this is going to go all the way around, but I'm not worried because I want it to look a bit... I could have put yellow in there. I might just come back with the yellow thread and pop a bit of yellow on that. So that's a bit thicker. And don't forget, Sally suggested this. If you can't see, you can zoom in on your iPad with your 2 fingers and you'll be able to see. I don't know about the TV. I don't think so. And on the computer, you'll be able to find the zoom button. Now that's a bit tight. So what I'm going to do is try and grab that fabric there. Open up that. hold it and just gently put my finger there to keep it open. Now this is definitely not in line. So what have I finished? I don't know where I was when I left, but I finished the stitching on the flower. I've done the daisies, which I think that's where I left you with. And I've done the tulips, obviously, and I did the birdie, which I'm really happy about. And I'm just about to finish these little yellow flowers, which I think I'm going to keep the same, but just do the stamens a little bit different. And then I've just got to do the swirls and the May saying, which I think I used some cotton for my cottage, but I think I might use this for that, or I've just actually changed my mind. I'm going to use a teal colour, which may be that one there. That was my mum's favourite colour, and May is the month that I remember my beautiful mum. So I think I might do teal colour, but I'm not sure if it'll be that. And I have a feeling I want to do it in pearl cotton. So let's just get on with. I've got threads flying everywhere at the moment. The flower here. Now again, I have lost my needle. Yeah, when you lose your needle, you go to try and find it. I swear the needle fairies come and just take it. Because one time I lost a needle in the bed, and it was a big one. It was like a milliner's needle. And do you think I could find that? No way. And I still haven't found it today. I just don't know where it went. I've looked in my pyjamas. I've looked in the bed, under the bed, at the head of the bed. I just don't know. So let's continue on. So all I'm doing here is just doing a back stitch for the flowers. I did a back stitch for the bird. Sometimes the easiest stitches are the best, especially when you don't know what it's going to turn out like. So how are you? I'm probably saying this in the middle of the video, but I always ask, when you turn the video on, you always want to know how people are. So it's a nice sunny day. This is obviously being recorded because in May I will be in Chester at my husband's auntie's house. I will have gone to Amsterdam and gone on the river, then to Paris and Colmar, and then on to Paris, and then I would have said goodbye to my husband, and I would have gone on the train to London, then up to Sally's for a few days. Obviously, you possibly might see that video before this one, and then I'm up to my husband's auntie's in Chester, and then I'm home. So I get home on the 7th of May. So this video has to be a bit pre-recorded. So this is quite a nice little flower, this. So I also found out that this blue ink transfer does actually smudge. I had smudged a bit somewhere, so you've got to be careful that you don't get it wet, because the blue ink will just smudge all over your hand, all over your piece of work, and that can't be good when you want it to look nice. Don't know what kind of ink they used in the day. to make it transferable. So I've gone to big stitches to little stitches, so I'm just happy just to stitch the flower anyhow it comes down on the fabric. I'm just going to finish the last bit, then I will leave it here because I'm just trying to do this video as a one video thing, not like over weeks of the video as you would have known with all the other ones. So I'll get to the end of this flower. Sorry, I keep turning it the wrong way so you can't see. Now I've gone over there. I wonder if that matters anything to the blue. See, it does, so I have to unpick that. So that's the only thing you have to be careful with, is when you do the transfer, you've got to make sure that you have enough thread to cover the transfer. You think that would go through. It's a big eye needle. And then have enough thread to cover the transfer, but stay on the transfer because then it mostly covers it over. So I'll just finish this little bit and then I will leave you again. I know you're going to miss me, and I'll be back to show you the next part, or if yeah, the next part will be the swirls and the May name, and then that would be finished, and then I'll finish it off. Okay, so I will go off the camera and finish that off. Finished all the stitching, and I've just got to put the back on, and I'll come back. And it's finished, and I absolutely love it. I love the colours. I love the way, even just when I did these little yellow flowers, I just thought, oh, well, I'll just put red in, and it worked. So I'm not sure, I might do a little bit of painting within the bird and possibly the flowers. It looks a bit naked here and here, but later on down the track, I can always add something to it. And I want to thank you very much for watching my May video for the calendar, and look forward to doing June. Thanks again, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe.